Julie Ryan, noted psychic and medical intuitive, is ready to answer your personal questions, even those you never knew you could ask. For more than 20 years, as she's developed and refined her intuitive skills, Julie used her knowledge as a successful inventor and businesswoman to help others. Now, she wants to help you grow, heal, and get the answers you've been longing to hear. Do you have a question for someone who's transitioned? Do you have a medical issue? What about your pet's health or behavior? Perhaps you have a loved one who's close to death and you'd like to know what's happening. Are you on the path to fulfill your life's purpose? No matter where you are in the world, take a journey to the other side and ask Julie Ryan.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Ask Julie Ryan Show. I'm Julie, your host, and I'm so delighted that you could join us this week. My intention in doing this show is to provide information, insight, and comfort to people all around the world by helping to answer life's unanswerable questions. And hope your week was really good last week. Mine was fabulous because our son Jonathan was in town from Los Angeles, and he spent a week here, which was great. So we got to see him every day, got to do fun things. He was at a music concert this weekend here in Birmingham called Floss Fest, and I think they had 50 bands. And he was all worried about the rain. And I said, honey, everything's going to work out. You'll see. You'll get to see who you want and all that. So Sunday, they canceled a bunch of bands because we had bad weather come in. They had to evacuate even the area where the bands were. And so he was watching it on Twitter to see when they were going to let people back in. Long story short, the band that he really wanted to see got canceled, but he saw on Twitter that they were playing a free concert at a venue here in town. He got to hear them for 2 hours. It was free. He was thrilled. So great example of just hang in there because good stuff always happens. So it was fun having him home. And then I'm looking forward to tomorrow night because I asked my honey Tim on a date, my husband, and I said, I got a proposition for you. And he said, what's that? And I said, I'd like to go on a date with you. And he said, okay, what are you going to do? And I said, I want to go out to dinner and I want to go see Mamma Mia 2. Are any of you guys Mamma Mia fans? I am a huge Mamma Mia fan. And Cher's in Mamma Mia 2. So don't you know she's going to steal the show. So I think it opened yesterday, maybe today. And I've been waiting for Mamma Mia 2 to be available since the Super Bowl because that's when they ran their first ad. And apparently in the parts of the country where they released it early, it's doing great. So go see Mamma Mia 2 and then we'll compare notes. But I don't think you can watch that movie without having a smile on your face. It's just so much fun. Speaking of fun, let's just go to the phones and see who we've got with us tonight. And I believe our first caller is Gregory. Hi, Gregory.
Hello.
How are ya?
Good.
Good. Where are you calling us from this evening?
Michigan.
Okay, whereabouts?
Just north of Lansing.
Okay, terrific. Go Buckeyes? Is that what I need to tell you?
I don't think so.
I've been to
Close.
several games. I am a graduate of the Ohio State University, Gregory.
Okay.
Fourth generation. Four generations in our family. I was third generation graduate. But I have been to several games in the big house in Michigan, at Michigan. Are you a Spartans fan or a Wolverines fan?
I actually just got accepted into grad school at Michigan State.
Oh, terrific. Well, they're not as bad as Big Blue, so.
No,
yeah.
well,
yeah. Yeah, how that goes. But great school, so, it's big rivalry. We're my family.
Not a whole lot to talk about there the last decade.
That's right. Our family is a big college football family, so Alabama and Ohio State are my two favorite teams, so just letting you know.
Not bad, too.
I know. Well, how may I help you this evening?
Well, my wife called in last week in relation to a water damage issue that we have at our house.
Yes.
And the advice to her was probably going to need an attorney, probably going to need a public adjuster, and wouldn't you know it, we do. And that's pretty much the consensus across the board from every person we've confided in and talked to.
Uh-huh.
And we actually just had to get an attorney today because of a letter received from the insurance company and recommendation kind of coming down the pike from those conversations with him as public adjuster is going to be the next thing that needs to happen. And there's so many different opinions floating around out there from the people we're talking to, and I'm just wanting to make sure that we've got the right guys on board for this because it's a life-changing deal for us right now.
Sounds like it. Can you please give everybody a brief overview, if they didn't hear the show last week, what happened? You guys were on vacation, right, when you had a water?
We were,
yeah.
We were in Ocean City, New Jersey with my family, and at some point while we were gone, we had a sink faucet rupture in the bathroom upstairs and flood our house out. So we came home to a big surprise, I guess, and now we're in an epic battle with the insurance company, and as of yesterday, it sounds like they're denying our claim off of pretty much no grounds. So hence the attorney, hence the public adjuster, just a mess.
Yeah. Okay. So how may I help you?
So the attorney that we counsel with is a gentleman by the name of Anthony, and I am just wondering, if he is the right guy for this. He doesn't typically handle insurance claims per se, but he's come highly, highly recommended on a lot of other issues that actually my company's had to deal with. So I just, with him not having that background, but having a great background in general, I just want to make sure that he's the right guy for it.
So, as your wife, and I think her name was Katie, am I remembering that correctly?
You are. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So, I think when I've talked to Katie, I mentioned a way to do this that you can get divine guidance, I call it, a divine download, is to preface any question with, is it in my best interest too? And if it's something really pressing like this, that's really timely, you want to even add something to that and say, at this moment in time, is it in my best interest too? And then finish the sentence. And Gregory, the first thing that pops into your head is going to be divine guidance. And if you think about the answer for more than a couple of seconds, that's going to be your brain answering you. So if it's something important like this, we want to ask it in as concise of a manner as we can, because spirits are really literal. And we'll get an answer, but it may not be the proper answer to what we're thinking, but maybe not verbalizing as precisely as it could be. So I think we should ask some questions. By the way, I'm an entrepreneur and an inventor, and I've been involved in a bunch of lawsuits and cases and been in federal court and had six-figure legal bills, and I've won every case, by the way. I just want you to know.
Wow.
But
okay.
My first hit as a businesswoman is for you to find somebody who has either won against insurance companies and or worked for an insurance company as general counsel or as part of the general counsel's office for one of the big carriers. And my email is julie@askjulieryan.com. I have a friend who did just that, who's got an amazing win record, who's in Montgomery, Alabama. And if you email me, Gregory, I'll introduce you to my buddy, and maybe he knows of someone in the industry that's in your area that could help. Or he may have some advice that he can give you on how to find somebody and what kind of attorney to use. I just was getting so strongly last week that you guys were going to need an attorney.
Oh, you were right, and I appreciate that help.
Yeah. So if you email me, julie@askjulieryan.com, I'll introduce you to my guy. His name is Ben, and my buddy, and he might be able to help you. I don't know that he can represent you, but he certainly can maybe give you some guidance as a favor to me. I'll ask him to do that. But let's ask some questions, because you're not living in the house, right?
We're not. We're actually at my father's house.
Okay.
We've been here for the last 2 weeks. Essentially.
Oh, Gosh. So, and that's so awful to be displaced. But as I told Katie last week, that mold can make you guys so sick. So I'm glad you're not living in it. Not to mention, I'm sure it's just not livable with the damage it sounds like you had. But I don't want you living in it anyways because you're going to be sick. Yeah.
It's definitely not livable.
Okay, so let's ask some questions. The first one, hi, Chrissy, I see you've joined us. I'm going to mute you and I'll come back to you. So let's ask some questions. So is it at this moment in time, is it in Gregory and Katie's best interest to retain the attorney Anthony that they're considering? So first thing that pops into your mind, like within a second. You're thinking too long.
Yes, the first thing that pops into my mind.
Okay. Yeah. I got a yes too. So let's rephrase it. Is it in Gregory and Katie's best interest at this moment in time to hire an attorney who's won cases against an insurance carrier? It's the first thing that pops in your head.
Yes.
I got a yes as well. So let's think of a third question. See what I'm doing? I'm just trying to make it as concise. Let's make it as precise and concise as we can get it to get information for you. But this is how it works. And that's why I wanted to practice a little bit so you felt comfortable doing it. So what's another question we could ask?
At this moment in time, is it in our best interest to retain a public adjuster by the name of Chuck?
A public insurance. Okay, what's the first thing in your head?
No.
I got a no as well. Yeah, I got a no too. So, do you have another one in mind?
I do.
What's his name?
Do you foresee this claim costing us a lot of money out of pocket?
I get a no on that, but I think you're going to need to be smart about how you do it. And that's why you're going to need really good legal counsel here. So I think you guys are going to come out fine. I think you'll be able to rebuild. I just think it's going to be some back and forth negotiating. It's the art of the deal. It's all a negotiation. And those guys, when they're doing those kinds of big claims like what you're talking about, I think they're incentivized to try and keep the claim down. I don't know that for sure, but my guess is they are.
I think your guess is probably right.
Yeah. So I think it's just part of the game, back and forth. So email me. I'll make an introduction for you with Ben, and I'll help you any way I can. And I mentioned to Katie too, if you guys want to do a private session with me for an hour, I can scan the house and I'll be able to tell you where the mold is in the house. So that'll give you kind of a checklist that you can work with the adjuster on too, because oftentimes I'll see stuff that isn't being picked up by some of the inspectors. I do that all the time for people on mold, and I also do it for people that are selling or buying a new house. So I'll be happy to help you with that. Okay.
Well, I would definitely.
Well, good luck. Hang in there.
Yeah. Given the circumstances, This was fun though. Thank you.
Oh, all right. Take care. Thanks, Gregory.
Right,
Bye-bye. Bye. Okay, let's see who our next caller is. I believe it's Lisa. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Julie.
How are you?
Thanks for taking my call. I'm good.
Perfect.
I'm calling from Salt Lake City, Utah area.
Okay.
So my question tonight, I'm actually calling for a question for my husband. He asked me to call in, and he couldn't be here tonight. So he says, please call in for me.
Oh.
His name's Mike.
Uh-huh.
And he's had this thing with coffee for years, and he absolutely loves coffee. But somebody told him probably, 25 years ago that he was allergic to it. And so he kind of fights with himself as to, should I drink it? Should I not drink it? Is it good for me? Usually if he drinks it at all, it's like 1 cup a day, and then it kind of perks him up a little in the morning if he's still in a little, still kind of groggy or whatever. But he's just wondering, he just wanted you to scan him and see what you think or feel about it, and if it's affecting him in some other way, or if something else is getting triggered when he drinks the coffee from, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So, anyway, that's his big question.
Okay, when you first started talking about Mike and coffee, what I got was he's not reacting well to the mold level in coffee. Coffee in America is very moldy. And if you Google that, you'll see that the mold levels accepted by our import people are much lower standards, much less rigorous than China and the EU and lots of other countries, and we take coffee that those countries reject. So normally when somebody has an issue with coffee, it's the mold that's on the beans that are ground, because, they pick the beans and they sit around and then they dry them and mold gets on them. So the coffee that I know that is tested that has very low mold levels is bulletproof coffee.
Mm-hmm.
And so you may want to try that. You can get it at Whole Foods. You can get it at bulletproof.com. You can get it on Amazon. Give that a whirl and see if he does better with coffee that has low mold on it. The other thing is coffee that's imported from the EU will have way less mold as well. But I would try Bulletproof. It's made in America, but they just test the daylights out of it, and it has very low mold level.
Well, I've heard you say that on previous shows, and so I just got some for me. I like decaf. I like to have a cup of decaf, but he's not. He's weird about decaf.
Okay.
So, but you think he could still have? He could have the regular, and his system is okay with it.
I think he's allergic. I think he's having a reaction to the mold.
Oh, interesting.
Like in the coffee. Yeah.
Okay.
I know.
And it's kind
of like when I talk to people about wine, especially if they have a lot of candida, I'll say, you're drinking moldy grapes that have yeast added to it to ferment it into wine. Is that really what you want to drink? And usually it's somebody in the Bay Area, in wine country, they'll go, yeah, I kind of live in the wrong area to do that. But if you're susceptible to mold, it's a problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's had this little pain in his back too, and I suspect he's got like a rib out of alignment or something. Or I don't know if it's something.
I think you're right.
He's had kidney. Do you?
Lower left side. Kind of mid-back around his waist on the left side. Go take him to a chiropractor. He just needs to be cracked. He needs adjusted.
That's all it is. Okay. Yeah, that's what I told him. He's been twice this week, but maybe they just still haven't quite got it.
Yeah, sometimes it takes more than once. But you know what? I'm watching an adjustment happen with him. Tell him he's a twisted mister. Twisted mister. Instead of a twisted sister, he's a twisted mister.
Twisted mister. I like that.
I think he just needs to go see the chiropractor.
So he'd be fine with, you think he'd be fine with regular bulletproof coffee then, huh?
I think it's worth a try. See what happens.
Okay.
Thanks for calling.
Well, thank you. You betcha.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay, you too. Bye-bye.
That was techno savvy at its best. Oh my gosh. Okay, our next caller is Nabi. Hi, Nabi. Nabi, are you there? Hello.
Yes. Do you hear me?
Yeah, now, yes. Hi there.
Oh, okay. So let me confess two things first. Number one is I was thinking that this conversation is initiated from Australia. So that's why at the beginning I said, okay, hey, I'm calling from USA. And the second thing I thought it will be about reading a book of Dr. Dispenza. Joe Dispenza.
Oh.
That was my thought. Now when it started, I feel like it is about counseling about various things, right?
It is. I'm a medical intuitive and a psychic, and I learned how to do all this stuff, Nabi. And you had the A right because I'm in Alabama. Well, not Australia, but it's Alabama. So you had the A
Yeah.
part right on the area. So, no, people ask me medical questions. We can talk to deceased loved ones. I can scan people. I can scan pets. We can do all that stuff. So where are you calling in from?
I'm calling from Pennsylvania.
Okay, terrific.
And
Well,
then,
do
sorry,
you have a
go ahead.
question for me?
No, actually, no. And then when the conversation started, I said, "Oh my God, all American accent. What's going on?" So anyway, so
Okay. All right. Well, we're
so
delighted to have you with us this evening, and if you just want to listen, you'll be able to. And if I have time, I'll come back to you, and you might have a question by then.
I'm sure about one thing that I do not have any question.
Okay.
But anyway, thank you. I will continue listening.
You are most welcome, and I hope you have a good evening. So thanks for joining us.
Yes.
All right. Let's see who's next. We've got, I believe, Marcia is our next caller. Hi, Marcia.
Hi, Julie. Calling
How are
from
you?
San Diego, California.
How you doing?
Well, I'm one of your twisted sisters, and I have seen my chiropractor, and I was doing really well and trying to get my body back in alignment, but I did some heavy, I think some awkward and heavy lifting over the weekend, and my back just kind of went out. Mm-hmm. And so I'm just wondering if you could do a little scan and see if it's just super strained or if there's some disc problem.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I'm going to do, everybody who's a first-time listener, like Nabi, what I do is I raise my vibrational level to the level of spirit, because we're all spirits in a body having a human experience. And when our spirits are in our bodies, our spirits vibrate more slowly simply because the body has mass. So when I raise my vibrational level, I'm able to connect with Marcia's spirit or whoever's, wherever, anywhere in the world. And so I close my eyes and I watch a laser beam in my mind's eye go from my body here in Birmingham, and it is going to head out west and hook into you, Marcia, in San Diego. And then I'm going to shoot energy from your feet up through the top of your head, and it's going to be as if I'm looking at a hologram of you. And I'm going to see in my mind's eye the equivalent of an X-ray or a CT scan or an MRI. So here we go. Here comes my laser beam from Sweet Home, Alabama, girl. Heading to Sweet Home, San Diego.
Yay.
Yay! All right. So got you. Okay. So shooting energy through you. I'm looking at you from behind, the hologram. And the hologram, Marcia, reminds me of Star Trek. When Beam Me Up, Scotty, when they're beaming Captain Kirk or somebody up to another planet, and you can see a hologram of the person as they're being beamed. And so that's what it looks like. Okay, so I've got you from behind. All right, so lower left side is what looks like it's really inflamed the most.
Yeah.
Is that what you're feeling?
Well, the lower left side, I don't know. It seems to go across the entire lower back, almost to the sides. But, I mean, yesterday was my worst day, and today it's just a little bit better. So.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so you're tweaked. What I'm watching happen is you've got some 2 vertebrae on the lower left side that are out of whack, and they're squeezing a disc. So the disc is bulging a little bit. So what I'm doing is a healing on you, and it's propping those vertebrae back up into place. And then whenever I see a bulging disc, Marcia, what happens is there's this little really fine netting that gets applied to keep that disc in place. And it's so funny because when I scan somebody later down the road, and whether it's a week or a month or a year or whatever, I still see that netting in place that I watch happen in the healing. So I've never seen that happen in actual back surgery in the operating room, but I'll see it all the time when I zap on people. So that's being propped up. That netting has been applied. That disc is back in place. Now what I'm watching happen is a chiropractic adjustment, and you're getting adjusted all the way up. Kind of like if you have a row of dominoes and you hit one and they all just kind of boom, 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 go into line.
Right.
You know, they fall down. That's what the left side of your back did. So I would ice it in the short run. I would also consider going to see your chiropractor again.
Yeah, I'm going to see Monday because I had an appointment yesterday, but it was too tender and I could almost not drive to even go. But is there a particular disc or vertebrae that is like L something, or do you know?
I don't know what those are.
Okay.
It's just lower left.
Lower left. Okay.
Yeah, lower left. And what I did too was I applied anti-inflammatory energy to help get that inflammation down.
Thank you so much.
You are so welcome. Okay. All right. By the way, there are refreezable ice packs you can get at the drugstores like CVS and Walgreens and those, and they have little pellets in them, kind of like little peas. And a lot of people use them for plastic surgery, but I think they're really good for any kind of body part that needs to be iced because they'll mold to how you need it. Because you don't want something to be sitting up next to something that's not going to be comfortable. So you may want to have a friend or a family member run out and see if they can get that or look at it online. But I think at this stage it's ice for you.
Yeah, I felt the same way. What do you think about like a TENS machine, the muscle stem? Is that doing any good at this point? I did use it in the last couple of days. Or do you think ice is just the best?
I don't think it's a muscular thing. I think it's I think it's a skeletal thing with a disc thing. So if it gives you relief, I don't think it's going to hurt. But I don't think it's a muscle thing.
Yeah, I think the best thing so far has been the icing. So I think you're right about that. So perfect.
Okay. All right, hang in there. Let us know how you're doing. Okay, take care.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for calling. Bye-bye. Okay, let's see who else we have this evening. I believe our next caller is Kim. So, hi, Kim.
Hi.
How are ya?
I'm doing well, thanks. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. Please tell everybody where you're calling in from.
The Chicago area.
All right, terrific. Well, you got a question for me?
Yes. Well, it's kind of a follow-up / question.
Okay.
I spoke to you at the end of last month. I was trying to find a job, and I kind of was a little lost in the process. And you suggested that I reach out to people to figure out how to network. So I did that, which was very painful for me.
Was this about the library thing?
Yes. That was me.
I remember you. Yeah, I remember you.
Oh, thanks.
Because you want to work in a library in a school, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So, well, I did reach out to my one of my former professors because she also is a school librarian as well as a professor, and I talked to her about networking, and she said first we'll start with my resume. So she looked at my resume, which wasn't very good, which I kind of thought that was probably an issue. So anyway, I fixed up my resume, and then I did get called on some interviews. So I'm kind of at that process, and I just wanted to ask your feedback on something.
Yeah.
So, well, I did get offered one job, but I don't think I don't feel like that's a good fit for me at all. And I've been on 2 other interviews, and I just wanted to see if you had a sense if I was going to get any more, if I was going to get any more offers, and if so, which one would be a better fit for me.
Okay. So did you hear when I was talking with Gregory, our first caller, and we were talking about, is it in my best interest to, that question? Were you on for that?
I was. I was driving my daughter home from dance, so it was raining in the car, so I didn't hear it super well.
Okay. All right.
But
a really good way to get divine guidance, I call it a divine download, is to ask the question, is it in my best interest to, and then finish whatever the sentence is. And then the first thing that pops in your head, Kim, within a second is going to be God, the universe, the angels, your deceased loved ones, your spirit guides, all of them answering you. And spirits are crazy literal. They're really, really literal. So if you can be as specific as you can, you're going to get a really accurate answer. So I think we should practice it. And let's ask a couple of questions, and then we'll compare notes, just so you can get comfortable with doing it. The best thing about this technique is it's free, and you can use it wherever your brain is. So, you don't have to have anything special with you other than your brain, which hopefully that's with you all the time. No,
I did hear you ask him the questions, but I didn't hear the explanation before. Yeah. So now that makes sense.
So if it's something that's really timely, like with Gregory, they can't live in their house because they have water damage and mold growing. You preface it with, is it in my best interest to, and at this moment in time, is it in my best interest to? So let's ask some of those questions for you just so you can practice. Okay, and we'll compare notes. So, what's the question? Is it in Kim's best interest at this moment in time to accept the job offer she's received? What's the first thing that pops into your head?
I'm sorry, can you ask it again, because I wasn't focused. I'm sorry.
At this moment in time, is it in Kim's best interest to accept the job offer she received?
No.
I got a no as well. Good girl. All right, so let's ask another one. Is it in Kim's best interest to continue to interview for a job as a librarian in a school? What's the first thing that pops in your head?
Yes.
I get a yes, too. See, you're already doing it. You didn't even know it. So that's how you do it, and you just ask those questions, but be super specific. As you get more interviews, name the school. At this moment in time, is it in my best interest to accept the offer from Harry Smith Middle School or whatever? And you're going to get very precise answers. And you can ask multiple choice questions. You can ask any kind of questions. You can make a statement. It doesn't have to be just yes/no questions, but that can be really helpful for you. I'm so proud of you that you networked. Good job.
Thanks. It's not easy for me to do that.
But I know,
I'm like, all right, I'll give it a try, because my way is not working, and I did call for help.
Yeah.
But it did, just based on my resume, I kind of, did more research, and I got some more insights into what I was doing, and I felt that kind of helped me too. So I think just reaching out did really kind of help me in the process. So
you go, girl. Good job.
I listened.
Good job.
And I did get your book, but I'm only halfway finished with it. So
okay,
because I've been busy looking for jobs.
I bet. All right. Well, thanks so much, and I hope you enjoy reading it, and let us know what happens. Good luck.
Thank you.
Okay. Take care. Bye-bye. All righty. Let's see who else we got this evening. We've got Novella. Hi, Novella.
Hey, Julie. How are you doing this evening?
I'm well. How are you?
I am doing good. I was going to ask you about my dog, but I happen to be standing in my business right now, and I thought that would probably be a good time to do that while my body's actually in my business at the same time.
Sure. Okay. Please tell everybody where you're calling in from.
I'm calling in from, right now, Valley Springs, California.
Okay. And give everybody a brief overview of what you got going on.
I have a small health food store, and ever since I bought it, we've had nothing but little mishaps. We've had, ups and downs in business, which is not unusual for our area either. But it seems like we can't sell it. We can't grow it. There's something blocking, and I was wondering if you could see what in the heck's blocking, what's here. We've had a little paranormal activity from time to time, and I just can't figure out why it isn't shining off the map and people aren't noticing it either to buy it or even just to come in. So just kind of, we're scratching our heads on this one.
Okay. So what I'm going to do, Novella, is I'm going to connect to you, and then I'm just going to look around where you are and see what's happening in your store. So is it in a strip mall? is that?
It's in a really nice high-end kind of strip mall for our area, and it's a new property. It's not an old building, only like 2007. Beautiful plaza.
Mm-hmm. All right. So there is paranormal activity going on. What I'm seeing is, and you're going to have to help me here because I'm not familiar with Valley Springs, but what I'm seeing is people that are dressed in turn of the 20th century attire, but they kind of remind me of settlers because the women have bonnets on them, like what you'd see in the Wild West movies. You know, the John Wayne movies when they'd be in a town. Tell us about Valley Springs. What kind of area is it?
We're actually in the middle of the gold rush. This is where they had the frog jumps. Sense. We're east of Sacramento, so lots of that.
All right. That would make sense. So there's a pathway that I see people walking in, and they're dressed like they're in a Western town, like in a John Wayne movie.
Yeah.
And they're walking through your store almost as if they're walking like to church on Sunday or something. They're dressed up, and so there's it would be interesting to see what was on that property way, 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 way back 100 years ago, if anything.
There's no records of anything ever being built here, but it doesn't mean there wasn't somebody camping out or et cetera.
Or a pathway or something.
It's right next to the main highway that goes through here that always was a wagon wheel, kind of so people could have stopped and parked next to it. That could be.
Yeah. And these aren't city slicker people. These look like settlers. They look like Western movie people. So what I can do is let me see if we can do they're kind of walking in a not a procession, but like if you had a bunch of people on foot going to church or going someplace, that there was a time that everybody was going to, maybe a performance or something. I'm getting church on Sunday. Yeah. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a kind of a shield around where they are so that energy doesn't permeate into your store because it's going right through the middle of your store.
Okay.
All right, as they're going. And so what I'm doing is I'm putting a kind of what a pneumatic tube looks like at the bank when you put your checks and stuff in that little container and then they suck it back up into the drive-through teller thing. So it looks like that, but it's an archway. It's not a tube all the way around, but it's an archway that covers it on three sides, kind of like a tunnel. And it looks like it's plexiglass to me, but it goes the whole length of your store. And once I did that, then the energy increased in your store.
Okay.
The light of it. So I think you're absolutely right that you guys are picking up that there's something going on. When you called in before, I was getting very strongly for you to try and find a business broker and also to try and expand your search for a buyer outside of just your area. And so I'm still getting that really strongly. But hopefully this will help contain some of the energy. And you scheduled a private...
Yes, I did. I scheduled a private. Yeah, I did.
So we'll do a really deep dive. But, yeah, I think you're absolutely right.
Okay, because things actually fall off the shelf. We've had staff members say something just fell off the shelf and it's sitting there, and it was in a box. So it's been a little odd. Nothing scary, but just weird,
Right, right.
So, okay, well, hopefully that'll help because I kept feeling that there's something here, and I tell it go next door to the bakery. One of those things that you're going to. I said, if you can't behave yourself, you got to go to the bakery. So go over there.
Well, you're absolutely right in that because when we're in a body, when our spirits are in a body, we have way more power than a spirit that's in non-physical. So you can tell them to go away. You just got a bunch of them. So it's like you're telling a procession of people to go away. So I think that's what's been going on.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Well, thank you for that, and I will talk to you this next week.
Okay, looking forward to it. We'll have a whole hour to do a deep dive on this, and we'll be secret agent girls together. We'll figure out what's going on. And
that sounds good because it really needs. There's just way more than this just going on, but that does answer my question, so I appreciate that.
Okay, you're welcome. Thanks for calling in.
Thank you.
Bye. All righty. We do this show every Thursday night at 8 Eastern, 7 Central, and 5 Pacific. The call-in number is 712-770-4160, and the access code is 533677# or hashtag. You can find this information a multitude of places, anywhere you download podcasts. We're on about 40 different networks: iHeart, iTunes, Stitcher, Blueberry. I can't even remember all of them, but it's a bunch. We're also on YouTube. Everything's under Ask Julie Ryan, and all this call-in information is in the show notes. In addition, it's on my website, AskJulieRyan.com. If you scroll down to the bottom of the homepage, you'll see it. And then while you're on my homepage, if you look to your right at the bottom of the homepage, you can sign up for my blog, which is a question that someone has submitted, and I answer it. I answer a different question each week. So it's in the body of the email, too, all of this call-in information. When you're on my site as well, like what I was just talking with Novella, schedule a private session, and then we'll have a whole hour to talk about whatever you want to talk about. As I always say, I'm a businesswoman that does woo-woo. I learned how to do woo-woo, and I'm a buffet of psychicness. So I coined those two phrases. And we can do a medical scan. We can scan your home, your pets. We can do past life stuff. We can talk to deceased loved ones. We can remove ghosts, all of the above. And we can do bits and pieces or whatever you want. So it makes it really a fun time when we get to be together. So speaking of questions that have been submitted online, here's the one for this week. And this comes from Linda, and Linda lives in Whitby, Ontario, Canada. And she said, "Hi, Julie. I was hoping you could help me heal the chronic pain in my neck, shoulder, and head that I've had for the past 18 years. I've tried many modalities, including chiropractic and massage. Nothing seems to work. Thanks." And here's my response. "Hi, Linda. In order to get some information about the cause of your head, neck, and shoulder pain, I energetically connected with you in Canada and saw, in my mind's eye, what looks like cervical scoliosis." So again, I'm looking at a hologram of Linda, and I shoot energy from her feet up through the top of her head, and I'm shown what would be the equivalent in my mind's eye of an X-ray, a CT scan, an MRI. I went on to say, hang on a second, somebody's just joined us. Okay, I went on to say, cervical scoliosis is a relatively rare condition when a sideways curvature in the spine is found in the neck area. In your case, as I looked at you from behind, the curve was to the right. Spines are normally vertically straight down the back from the base of the neck to the tailbone. I believe this is what's causing your chronic pain. Now, if you look at a side view of a spine, it's got curves in it. But as you're looking at somebody from behind, from the back, it's supposed to be straight up and down. It's not supposed to curve. Hers curves to the right. Next, I watched a healing occur. It was an energetic spinal fusion surgery, and I've seen it performed many times over the years. First, a laser was used to soften the spinal tissue and make it moldable. Then, 2 vertical rods were placed on either side of your neck and gently used to straighten your spine. Again, the laser was applied, in this case, to solidify your newly straightened spine. Once your spine looked normal, both rods fell to the side and disappeared. Your healing was completed with a final shot of energy from your feet to your head. Your energy field lit up like the North Star, and the inflammation was gone. Hope this helps relieve your pain. Now, I'm an inventor of orthopedic surgery devices that are sold throughout the world, and have been sold throughout the world for going on 30 years. I've been in bazillions of orthopedic surgeries in my career. I've seen actual spinal stenosis surgery. I've seen all kinds of fusion surgeries happen, and it's similar to what I see, but the cool thing about when it's done energetically is those rods don't stay in, and they fall away from the spine, and it reminds me of if you've watched a rocket launch, like one of the shuttles from Cape Canaveral in Florida, or Cape Kennedy, and it just leaves the rocket stand, the platform, and then those side guides and things that are holding the rocket in place before it blasts off, they just fall to the side. That's what I see happen, and then those rods disappear. So I'm going to be really interested, Linda. Please call in sometime and let us know how you're feeling and if this is helping you. I believe it will. I see this healing happen a lot when I'm working with people. All righty, let's see who else we have. I've got a caller from a 203 area code. Hi, this is Julie. Who's this?
Hi, Julie. It's Karen calling from Connecticut.
Hi, Karen.
Hi.
Hi, Karen. How are you?
I'm good. I have a question about a friend, please, who has been dealing with many autoimmune diseases for a number of years that are pretty serious. Today he was admitted in hospital for pneumonia that was recurring, and I just wondered if you might be able to give a little insight into what's going on and maybe why.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what's his name, Karen?
His name is George. Do you need the last name?
I don't need his last name. Is he in Connecticut with you, or is he elsewhere?
He's in Connecticut.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect to you, and then from you to George, and my laser beam's going to kind of look like an Etch-a-Sketch. On an Etch-a-Sketch, you draw a line. And
I love those, yeah.
You could do it someplace else with that. So, all right, here we go. I'm connecting to you, and then from you to George. So I'm going to ask his permission, because I don't ever scan anybody without their permission. So, George, I'm talking with Karen. Do I have your permission to scan? Because he doesn't know what that means. So I'm not getting his permission to scan him. You may want to talk with him, Karen, and explain a little bit. Maybe send him to my site if it feels up to looking at that, and then I'll be able to scan him. I can scan him. I just won't when I don't have some permission, because it's an ethical thing. I will tell you, though, if you go on my website, on my blogs, you want to find the blog about sepsis, SEPSIS.
Okay.
And sepsis is a blood infection that people get when they're in the hospital. That came in with him, so he may be at risk of that, or he may already have it. And there's a physician who's also a professor at the Western Virginia Medical School, and I wrote a blog on it, and he's curing sepsis with vitamin C, steroid, and thiamine, which is a B vitamin, and he has an amazing success rate, because sepsis is the number one killer of people in U.S. hospitals, and the kill rate is like high 60%.
Wow.
But this guy, I want to say his name's Paul Marik, Marik, MD. You may want to Google that. But find the blog on my site, because there's links to his research. And what you're going to learn is that, God, like in his last 150 patients when he wrote this paper, he hadn't lost any. He hadn't lost any.
Okay.
So it's cheap, it's easy. I'm finding that a lot of ICU and critical care physicians aren't familiar with the protocol, but it's stuff they have, and it's easy to administer, and it's not going to hurt anything. But they're having amazingly terrific success rates with that. So I would check that out and give that to either your friend or to his family.
Okay. Thank you very much. Yes.
You're welcome.
I will look that up, and I will also talk to him about granting permission to you.
Okay. Terrific.
Okay.
Sounds
Thank you,
good.
Julie.
Thanks, Karen. Appreciate you coming in. Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye-bye.
And I believe our next caller is Miss Susie. Hi, Suze.
Hi, Julie. Thanks for taking my call.
You're welcome.
And I'm excited for you to see Mamma Mia. I'm looking forward to seeing it, too. So thank you.
Don't you know Cher's going to steal the show?
Yeah. It's going to be great, I'm sure. So
somebody told me that they were watching some kind of an interview on YouTube, and she was in it, and a couple of the other stars, and they were talking about that there was a costume for her, and Cher didn't like the costume, so she went over to her bag and she pulled out something, and the costume designer said, "Well, that's perfect." And a couple of the young girls said, "It's Cher."
Oh, that's so great. I'm happy for you. Good for you.
Oh, yeah. You got a question? Tell everybody where you're calling from, please.
I'm calling from the San Francisco Bay Area, and I did get a call from the doctor yesterday that the biopsy finally 6 weeks later that the final biopsy did not show cancer, like you said. He says I do need to get the gland out, and he said it's a risk because the nerve for the submandibular gland runs right over the gland and the nerve for the lip, and he said it could risk not having a smile or being paralyzed because it's so scarred. The gland is so scarred, and where it lays. So I'll have to decide more about that. But my question, I'm going to see my lupus doctor tomorrow, and my blood work actually came back looking better than it usually does, and yet I'm feeling so tired that I literally have to eat as I'm working out. At night I'm laying down and feeling too tired to get up to eat, and just I'm not used to this, being so tired. And I'm wondering if you see any reason for that, since the blood work looked decent.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Well, let me get you on my radar. Tell everybody who's listening who hasn't been following what's going on with you, what happened with your benign, diagnosis. And
I have a block.
I wasn't seeing malignancy ever. All the time.
Yeah. The doctor just wanted to make sure about it because he'd never seen a rash. I've had the rash since December. The gland's been blocked since August of 3 years ago, so it'll be 3 years next month, and it just is permanently, chronically infected and scarred. And so he's saying it has to be removed. Basically, it feels like someone's punching me in the neck all the time, and the rash has been there since December, like I said, and he's never seen a rash on top of the blocked gland before. Mm-hmm. So finally there's no cancer after, like I say, 6 weeks after the MRI. There's just all kinds of reasons why they had to do 2 biopsies and all that. And so now I'm just wondering, I know I will have a question about whether, he said he could do the surgery or send me to, he thought that I should go to Stanford to an expert that he knows there because of the risk of the permanent, paralysis to the lip. So I will have to decide, but I'm hoping maybe there's some other way I can cure this, some kind of natural remedy. So I'm going to try for that.
Sending you to a head and neck surgeon at Stanford is my guess.
Yeah, he said he's an expert in the submandibular gland.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. What a specialty.
Yeah, exactly.
Cool.
And maybe I'll check the name, with you sometime. But I'm just trying to figure out why I'm so tired, because this has been all week of where literally I have to eat through my workout to have energy to work out because of how exhausted I feel, and I'm not. This is so unusual for me. To feel
I think you're fighting.
tired.
I think you're fighting a little viral infection, Suze. So viral infections in somebody's energy field look to me like really watery beef broth. They're kind of that brownish color. Mm-hmm. And so what I'm doing is I'm forcing it out through the top of your head versus that's how viral infections look to me. Bacterial infections to me, I see antibiotic energy. And antibiotic energy is like fuchsia colored as I perceive it. I don't know that anybody else does, but that's how I know what it is. I'm not seeing that with you. You're fighting just a little bit of viral thing. It's no big deal. And so I'm doing that. Are you still taking your vitamin C and zinc?
I was, and then when I finished the bottle, I haven't repurchased that, so I should probably get back on that then. I did take the whole bottle of Ester C and zinc, so I should get back on that, so thank you. Yeah. I'll do that. And do you see that I need the surgery, or do you see that there's some other way I might be able to heal it?
Well, let me tell you first. 1,000 of Ester C, ER, everybody, is what we're talking about, that's buffered so that it doesn't upset your stomach. So 1,000 milligrams of Ester C, 50 milligrams of zinc together. The zinc acts as like rocket fuel for the C. Mm-hmm. And like what I was just talking with Karen about with the sepsis treatment with the vitamin C and steroids and stuff, IVs. I mean, it's curing sepsis in the hospitals. Wow. Vitamin C is a potent immune booster. I want you to take it 3 times a day, Suze, till you feel better.
Okay, I'll order it today.
Okay,
I was doing it.
And they have it you can get it at the grocery store if you don't want to order it. You know, I mean, like Whole Foods has it, Sprouts has it, a bunch of grocery stores have it, and then of course Amazon, places like that too. So, is it in Susie's best interest to have surgery on the gland, her salivary gland? Well, I get a yes. Is it in Susie's best interest to go do a consult with the surgeon at Stanford? I get a yes. I think go do a consult and see what he says. See what the surgeon says.
That's the next step. Well, thank you so much, Julie. Really appreciate you and your show, and I have you have a great time tomorrow at Mamma Mia. Look forward to hearing how you like it.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bless you. Okay. Bye-bye.
All righty. Lastly, everybody, if you want to win a free 1-hour session valued at $155, it's a bargain when it's free, and you just have to do 3 easy things. Follow me on Instagram at Ask Julie Ryan, write a review about why you like the podcast on iTunes at Ask Julie Ryan, and subscribe to my blog at AskJulieRyan.com. So I give away a free session each month on the first Thursday of the month, and the gal who won it last month, we scheduled her session yesterday, I think. So I'm going to talk to her next week, and she's really excited, and I am too, to talk to her. So if you're thinking about wanting to talk for an hour about just all your stuff, obviously I can't spend an hour with you during the show because the whole show is an hour, but you don't have the money to do it, sign up for this. And it's a drawing. We draw it every month, and I got this little box. I put everybody's stuff in, and I pick a name out of the box. And then I will announce it on the first Thursday of August. So check that out. Sign up for my newsletter, AskJulieRyan.com. Schedule your private sessions if you want one. Order angelic attendance. And please tell your friends and family about the podcast and encourage them to call in because it makes it so fun when we have a bunch of different callers. And I appreciate all of you listening. I appreciate everybody that called in, and I hope you all have a wonderful week. And we'll compare notes on Mamma Mia next week. Bye, everybody.
Thanks for joining us. Be sure to follow Julie on Twitter at AskJulieRyan and like her on Facebook at AskJulieRyan. For information on how you can ask Julie your question, please visit AskJulieRyan.com.